I don't like to tell people what they can and cannot enjoy, because there are two kinds of people that do that: YouTubers and Nazis. And even though a lot of people fit into both of those categories, I in fact am neither. That being said, enjoying The Big Bang Theory is worse than committing war crimes. I'm going to need some help getting through this. It's not a good lid for it.
Hey.
Big Bang Theory drinking game. Do a sip every time someone's misogynistic or repeats a joke. Comedy is subjective, and I'm sure that mathematically speaking there is at least one good joke in The Big Bang Theory. But one universal aspect of comedy is that telling the same joke over and over again gives you diminishing returns. If you tell the same joke twice, you might just be in that situation where you've said something really funny, and then the guy's like, "Holy shit, dude, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Jim, come over here. Jim, tell him the joke again," and then Jim's like, "What's the joke, my dude?" And then you've got to say it again and again because it keeps happening, someone new keeps coming over. And then you start to question whether the things coming out of your mouth are actually words at all, or just some perversion of one-man Chinese whispers, who knows. And if you tell the same joke 3 times across a 4-minute span, you're probably a writer for The Big Bang Theory. More like Big Bad Theory. I actually used to watch the show when you're 16 and you think that liking anime and not having sex constitutes a personality. You kind of gravitate towards shows like The Big Bang Theory that reaffirm your worldview, that you're actually the cool person and that everyone else is just wrong and dumb. And I didn't even like science. Like, what the fuck is a particle? So small you can't even see it? Little bitch looking ass. So small, can't even see it, acting like some stupid waves or some shit. Fuck you. You don't know me, fuck you. It didn't take long to realise that the show, the characters, and most of all the writing were an absolute trash fire. But the other day I decided to check in on my favourite Funko Pops come to life. I chose an episode that stood out to me and I landed on one about Bitcoins. Because that's still an almost relevant topic. And a lot of episodic comedies use real world issues to kind of riff on and tell jokes about, while using the story of the episode to kind of make a point about it. Like that time Friends did a 3-episode special about Joey trying to process 9/11.
Why are they making 4 more Avatar movies?
Okay, this one's a huge pet peeve of mine, and it's not just The Big Bang Theory that does it. It's when the scene starts with people entering a room that is supposed to be mid-conversation, but it always feels really unnatural. Sometimes they try and alleviate this by having him be like, "Dude, I can't believe what you just said about all Asians looking the same. That's really not cool, Joey."
I'm running a special today. Buy something, keep having a comic book store to come to.
Well, this is awkward. I was actually gonna return this.
What's wrong with it?
I finished it.
This is okay, I guess. Stuart being poor and having just less chin than anyone else on Earth has been a running gag for ages. And callbacks are charming, right? Well, strap in, boys, because unlike our dorky protagonists here, all you're going to be getting is callbacks.
Speaking of something I find interesting, did anyone read that article about Bitcoin I sent you?
Okay, stop again. This is almost Family Guy levels of awful conversational flow. And here I get that Sheldon's inconsiderate and self-centered. Keep these in mind for later, please. And would naturally try and steer the conversation to whatever he wanted to discuss, but come on. I'm gonna skip past the bits I don't have anything to say about, just because, trust me, even though there's nothing technically wrong with them, it's still agonizing to sit through. The guys are like, "Hey, didn't we mine Bitcoin?" And Stuart, upon hearing money is involved, is like, "Haha, yeah, I remember, we were gonna share it."
All I can remember from 7 years ago is I couldn't get Kesha's TikTok out of my head. Tick-tock on the clock. Whoa, welcome home, Kesha.
And Sheldon knows everything because he's a genius, but he's withholding the information for a little drama and intrigue. That's what the intro's getting across. It's setting up the framing device for the episode, which is essentially, "Dude, where's my Bitcoin?"
I can't believe you haven't seen Avatar yet. What is wrong with you?
Hey, it's a callback.
The first one is where they set up something and can't trust the audience to absorb the information and wait for the payoff like a normal human being, so they wait less than a minute before bringing it back. And the other is essentially the same, except it's not a one-off joke, it's the one joke, as in the show has 4 jokes and it reuses them constantly.
Yes, Ma, I'll be home for dinner. No, I'm not ruining my appetite with candy.
Look, 10 seconds later and we get Howard's unhealthy dependency on his mother, bringing out the big laughs here. This is the past segment, however, but it brings up something worth mentioning. I remember that she dies at some point in the series, and that could have been like a chance for his character to change and have an arc or something, but she's just replaced by Bernadette, and the same dependency dynamic, that's a good Big Bang Theory episode, continues, except now the Oedipal undertones aren't undertones, because he's just having sex with his mom.
Oh, we're having brisket? Be home at 6.
Jews apparently like brisket because it's a very inexpensive cut of beef. Well done, I guess.
Wait, what's Bitcoin?
It's a new online currency that's been developed. It's just like actual money, except you can't see it, hold it, or spend it on anything.
Finally, Jesus Christ, a joke about the topic of the episode. Not an incredibly imaginative take, but it's a start, so let's see where it goes.
Sounds like the kind of money I'm familiar with.
Oh no, they're just gonna go on Stuart bringing on his one personality trait that he's poor. Do you get it? Comic books don't make any money and Stuart is poor. He's fucking poor.
If it's not tangible, how do you know it's not just gonna vanish tomorrow?
Really? You're dating Penny and you're gonna poke at something that could vanish tomorrow?
Again, same joke. Penny's shallow and gonna leave Leonard for someone better. We're 3 minutes in and every joke bar one has been repeated like twice, and not only that, it's the same jokes they've been making for 13 fucking seasons.
I just came into a little extra money when my dad raised my allowance.
Is that another joke about unhealthy relationships with parents? Ring the bell, lads, we did it. It's been 3 minutes and 6 seconds and I'm finally having that stroke the doctors warned me about. Okay, I have to fast forward through this bit because it's physically agonizing. The guys all remember they mined Bitcoin but didn't let Sheldon get involved because he's a head-ass, small-face-ass nonce and they think they're rich but he's acting all smug. Roll intro.
So what are you gonna do with your share of the money?
Well, as a responsible adult, I'll put that money into a CD, wait for that CD to mature, and then buy a tiger.
Nice, a well-structured joke. Okay, let's keep this up.
Wow, I know you were single back then, but that is a lot of porn.
Science! A lot of science!
We're back in the past now when we finally get the payoff for that Kesha line.
Do you know a mining song?
I don't know. Does TikTok by Kesha count? Because it has tunneled its way into my heart.
And you know what, it's been an acceptable amount of time, so that's fine.
It's been doing that lately. I think it's got a virus from all the music I've been downloading.
What kind of music?
Mostly Asian.
And we're back on the porn, lads.
Some oldies.
Oh, and oldies. Okay, so I guess the Oedipus shit is back, but I was wrong when I called it an undertone. He might as well have just been pounding his mother this entire time. Back with Sheldon, he's talking about his wedding plans with Penny and his fiancée Amy. And guess what? He's being, what was it? Inconsiderate and self-centered again. But it's okay because he's a genius, so he's allowed to be toxic. Back to the Days of Future Past storyline, and Amy is here for some reason. I don't remember how she came to be part of the gang, so this could make sense in the continuity. Anyway, we're back with the boys. Sheldon's making fun of Penny for being a bad waitress, which again is a joke that they've been doing since series 1, but I know she's not a waitress anymore, so this might be why the writing feels a little bit stronger than in the other past segments, because things have actually evolved since this dynamic.
My computer broke and I didn't get the email. Would have been a perfect part for me.
Was it waitress who ignores her customers because that's the role you were born to play?
Just shut up and eat your burger.
Actually, it's a turkey club.
Didn't you order a burger?
I did, and yet here we are.
Oh, but we're back to Penny being shallow and Leonard being too emotionally invested because he's a nerd and no one ever loved him, so he gets clingy.
Use my laptop.
Are you sure?
Don't be silly. He's desperate to hold on to you. You can get anything out of him.
Turns out Penny gave away the laptop to her ex, so maybe my hatred for women is justified after all. And Sheldon does a bit of slut-shaming. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Really? Of all the things she's given to other men, that's what you're concerned about?
Now they go on about the fact that Lenny and Penny have been super off and on, which I guess is okay, but there's this line here that really sums up the entire show.
Which breakup was that? Was that the St. Valentine's Day massacre?
No, this might have been during the Comic-Con Dumpathon.
The Comic-Con breakup's easy to remember because Leonard was the saddest Pikachu.
Right, and he wiped his nose on your cape, and then you were the saddest Darth Vader.
These two super nerds, who are so down with all the cool geek subcultures and are massive epic gamer scientists, went as Darth Vader and fucking Pikachu to a Comic-Con. Are you kidding me? The show seems stuck between two scenarios. One is that the writers haven't yet coined onto the fact that Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter and all that shit are literally the most popular things on the planet, so they're still treated as nerd culture by the show. The other side of this I like, but is far too thought out for the show, and that's that they're purposely going for these super popular things that appeal to basically everyone as a commentary on how these things have been simultaneously gatekept and used as a shield by the capital N nerds who these characters represent. They like to think people don't like them because they're into cool, obscure stuff that society ostracizes, when actually people love Game of Thrones, and the reason no one wants to be friends with them is because they're just utter twats. I'm only halfway through now, so it's too late to turn back. Leonard is insecure, and that's what caused a lot of their breakups. This bit I actually like. Zack, despite his simple nature, acts as the voice of reason and mediates the conflict between Megazord and Pennywise, and brings up a drunk video she made where she's saying he's so perfect and it scares her or whatever.
Oh, you love me so much.
I married you, jackass.
I know, and not just out of pity, like everyone said in their wedding toast.
Then they find the folder and there's no bitcoins. Oh no, oh god. Sheldon reveals that they are in fact in the endgame now, and he stole the bitcoins and put them on a flash drive, but I'm a dumb bitch, so I don't know if any of that is actually how Bitcoin works, but the show is so fucking smart, why doesn't it tell me? It's had 16 minutes now to show me how bitcoins work and it hasn't, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's actually impossible for me to lose sleep because, as previously mentioned, I am a dumb bitch and I sleep 13 hours a day by default. Sheldon admits that he put the bitcoins onto Leonard's... onto his Batman flash drive. But Leonard lost it, and then Stuart finds it, and he's so poor that he plans to sell it at the end.
Ooh, Batman flash drive.
I'm willing to accept that I just picked a bad episode here, so in the spirit of research, I watched another one. It was still really bad, and suffered from a lot of the same deeply ingrained flaws with its writing, like giving the payoff for a joke way too early, and opening the episode with another nerdy comic book question that nerdy comic book readers might ask because they're just so wacky like that. But it didn't reuse jokes quite as much, so that's good, I guess. In conclusion, I'm just left to wonder how easy life as a TV writer can be. Like, I have literally no context or understanding of the job, and I'm sure having to churn out 20-something minutes of content every week while you're working in part of a team and are super well paid is really hard. Like, I can do maybe a 10-minute episode on my own that I have to write and record and edit, and it would ease my workload a lot if I could just slap
Hey, can Superman eat pussy or do his freeze breath kill woman
onto a page, follow by a laugh track, and then just call it a day.